Welcome to our channel, your trusted news aggregator bringing you the most important stories from around the world, all in one place. We scan dozens of sources daily to save you time and keep you informed about what truly matters. If you appreciate having your news gathered for you, hit that subscribe button and give us a like. It helps us reach more people who value their time. Right now, as you watch this, over 200 million Americans are in the direct path of what meteorologists are calling one of the most extreme winter storms in years. This isn't speculation. This is happening. The National Weather Service has issued winter storm watches across more than 35 states. Let that sink in. 35 states. The storm is already forming in the southwest, pulling Arctic air down from the North Pole, while simultaneously drawing moisture from the Gulf of Mexico. It's a collision of atmospheric forces on a scale we rarely see. By Friday, this system will begin its assault on the southern plains. By Saturday, it engulfs the southeast. By Sunday, the northeast will feel its full fury, and it won't end until Monday afternoon. The numbers are staggering. 8 to 14 inches of snow expected in Oklahoma City, 6 to 12 inches in Little Rock, Arkansas, 5 to 10 inches in Amarillo, Texas. But snow isn't even the worst part of this story. Ice. Catastrophic ice accumulation is forecast from East Texas through southern Arkansas and across the eastern side of the Appalachians. We're talking about ice thick enough to snap power lines like twigs. Ice heavy enough to bring down entire trees. The National Weather Service has warned of prolonged power outages lasting days, possibly longer in some areas. Atlanta, Augusta, Charlotte, Dallas-Fort Worth, all in the danger zone. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss critical updates like this. We aggregate the most important news so you stay informed without spending hours searching. Let me put this in perspective for you. Owen Shee, a warning coordination meteorologist with WUS, Weather Prediction Center, stated that more than 200 million Americans will experience temperatures below 20 degrees Fahrenheit. The storm system itself will stretch over 2,000 miles. 2,000 miles. From the Arizona-New Mexico border all the way to upstate New York. Every major metropolitan area from Dallas to New York City sits directly in its path. The cold behind this storm, that's where things get truly dangerous. Wind chills of 42-50 below zero in the upper Midwest and Great Lakes, in Texas and along the Gulf Coast. Wind chills could drop to 10 below zero. These aren't temperatures the human body can tolerate for long. Frostbite can occur in 5 to 10 minutes of exposure. Alasan Prater, meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Fort Worth, made a comparison that should concern everyone in Texas. In 2021, that devastating winter storm killed at least 246 people in Texas alone. She said this storm won't get quite as cold, but here's what she emphasized. It will still be dangerously cold. On this chimney it comes with massive ice accumulation that could cripple the power grid for days. The state of Texas has already activated emergency response resources. Governor Greg Abbott issued warnings Tuesday urging residents to prepare immediately. The Electric Reliability Council of Texas, which supplies power to 90% of the state, has issued a weather alert warning of higher electrical demand and potential for lower reserves. For states have declared states of emergency. South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, and Texas. The South Carolina National Guard is preparing equipment for deployment. Emergency operations plans are being activated across the region. This is not an overreaction. This is preparation for what forecasters are calling a potentially historic event. If you're finding this information valuable, hit that like button. It tells us you want more critical news updates delivered this way. Air travel. Let's talk about what's coming. More than 4,000 flight cancellations are expected this weekend. Major airports across the South don't have de-icing equipment necessary for aircraft to take off safely in these conditions. Southwest Airlines has issued travel waivers for 26 airports. Delta has issued waivers for 41 airports. American Airlines has done the same for 34 airports. If you have travel plans this weekend, they are almost certainly going to change. The highways will be worse. Interstate 10, 20, 30, 35, 40, 44, 49, 55. All of them will see treacherous conditions. The National Weather Service is urging people not to travel unless absolutely necessary. If you must drive, they recommend winter storm kits, booster cables, flashlights, shovels, blankets, extra clothing, water, first aid supplies. Things you'll need if you get stranded because help might not reach you for hours or even days. Let's talk about what happens when this storm peaks on Sunday. According to the Fox Forecast Center, more than half of America will simultaneously experience snow, sleet, or freezing rain at the same time. Think about that image for a moment. Half of the entire United States under winter weather at once. The Weather Prediction Center uses something called the Winter Storm Severity Index. It forecasts how dangerous conditions will become for travel and key infrastructure. For this storm, large swaths of the southeast are showing extreme impact levels. That's the highest category. It means catastrophic conditions for anyone caught unprepared. CBS Boston meteorologists are calling this the most impactful winter storm the United States has seen in several years. By Friday, they expect dozens of states to be under blizzard and ice storm warnings. Travel across the country will be severely impacted. Many airports will need to shut down completely. The storm system will grow to more than 1,000 miles wide, and by Sunday will likely cover almost the entire eastern half of the country. Make sure you're subscribed so you get updates as this situation develops. We'll be monitoring all the major sources and bringing you the most important information. Now, here's something that concerns meteorologists. The exact track of this storm is still shifting. As of Wednesday morning, forecast models showed the system potentially tracking further north than originally expected. What does that mean? It determines which areas get heavy snow versus crippling ice. A shift of just 50 to 100 miles changes everything for millions of people. The atmospheric setup is extraordinary. An Arctic high-pressure system, rotating clockwise, will funnel frigid air southward and lock it against the Appalachian Mountains. Meanwhile, moisture from the Gulf of Mexico gets drawn northward by the storm system. When that warm, moist air collides with the Arctic air mass, you get what meteorologists describe as an atmospheric battle zone. AccuWeather senior meteorologist Alex Sosnowski noted that temperatures may remain near or below freezing throughout much of the eastern United States well into next week. This will prolong impacts. Snow and ice won't melt. It will refreeze overnight, creating hazardous conditions that persist long after the storm itself passes. In Dallas, temperatures are forecast to drop below 32 degrees Fahrenheit for 48 to 60 consecutive hours. That's 2 full days below freezing. Power outages during that time period could be life-threatening. Some locations in the southeast won't see temperatures rise above freezing until Tuesday or Wednesday. Emergency officials are preparing warming centers. The National Guard is on standby to assist stranded drivers. State departments of transportation are pre-treating roads. But there's only so much preparation can do against ice accumulation of this magnitude. If you appreciate news that cuts through the noise and gives you what you need to know, show your support with a like. Every interaction helps us reach more people. The polar vortex. You've probably heard that term. Usually, it stays positioned over the North Pole. But sometimes, it becomes unstable and dips south. That's exactly what's happening this week. The polar vortex is colliding with this massive storm system, and the result is what forecasters are calling a once-in-several-years event. Social media posts from meteorologists are warning about exploding trees in parts of the Midwest and northern plains. When temperatures drop this rapidly and this far below zero, the sap inside trees can freeze and expand, causing them to literally explode. The sound is like gunshots in the night. Let me give you the timeline. Thursday night, the ingredients begin coming together. Friday, the storm begins in earnest across the southern plains and southwest. Snow starts falling in Oklahoma. Ice begins accumulating in Texas. Friday night, conditions deteriorate rapidly after sunset. Saturday morning, wintry precipitation stretches from central New Mexico into central Virginia. The southeast gets hit with its ice storm. Travel becomes impossible across large portions of Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and the Carolinas. By Saturday night, the storm expands northward. Sunday, this is when the Northeast gets hammered. Heavy snow pushes into New York City and Boston. At the same time, ice continues across parts of the Mid-Atlantic. The storm reaches its peak scope. Monday afternoon, finally, the system begins to move offshore and weaken. But the cold remains. Monday night into Tuesday, we're talking about some of the coldest temperatures. 9 degrees in Dallas with a wind chill of 1 degree. 11 degrees in parts of Oklahoma with wind chills below zero. Across the upper Midwest, actual air temperatures of 15 to 20 below zero before factoring in wind chill. The Washington Post published a forecast map showing the entire 2,000-mile stretch of this storm system. It's unprecedented in its scope this season. Ben Knoll, their meteorologist, wrote that significant snow and ice will affect dozens of cities with the potential for dangerous travel conditions, downed trees, and long-lasting power outages. Before we continue, if you're not subscribed, now's the time. We bring you verified information from trusted sources, all aggregated to save you time. NBC News is tracking the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration's Winter Storm Severity Index data with interactive maps updated every 2 hours. Their coverage shows the storm forecast for the next 72 hours. For this storm, the severe impact zone is enormous. NPR spoke with energy experts about Texas specifically. Ed Heers, an energy expert at the University of Houston, acknowledged that while the Texas grid is more resilient than it was in 2021, this cold snap could freeze wind turbines or create other disruptions that impact power generation. The state is better prepared, but no infrastructure is truly ready for a storm of this magnitude. Remember 2021. Millions without power. Temperatures inside homes dropping below freezing, burst pipes, infrastructure failures, lives lost. The aftermath lasted months. This storm might not be quite as cold, but it's bringing ice that 2021 didn't have in the same quantities. Ice is in many ways more destructive than snow. Schools are already announcing closures. Some districts have canceled classes through Monday. Businesses are telling employees to work from home or not come in at all. Grocery stores are seeing runs on essential supplies. Batteries, flashlights, bottled water, non-perishable food. Hardware stores can't keep salt and sand in stock. If you live in the affected areas, preparation is critical. Charge all devices now. Fill bathtubs with water in case pipes freeze. Bring pets inside. Check on elderly neighbors. Stock up on any necessary medications. Have a plan for where you'll go if you lose power and heat. Don't assume it won't happen to you. Let me read you exactly what the National Weather Service warning says. Treacherous travel conditions. Prolonged power outages and tree damage across the southeast United States. That's the official forecast. This isn't media hype. This is what the meteorologists who study this for a living are telling us. WBZ in Boston said with absolute certainty that the coldest air of this winter season will arrive Friday night. This is an air mass with origins near the North Pole. They're calling it a rare combination and clash of very different air masses. A near-record cold Canadian high-pressure system colliding with a moisture-laden atmospheric river from the deep Pacific. The odds are increasing that Boston and much of the Northeast could see jackpot snowfall amounts. They've issued a next weather alert for Saturday through Monday. That's a 3-day alert. They don't do that lightly. Make sure you've liked this video so more people see this critical information. News like this needs to reach everyone in the affected areas. Here's what concerns emergency management officials the most: the duration. This isn't a quick-moving system that passes through in 12 hours. This storm will impact different regions over a 4-day period, and the cold behind it will persist for nearly a week in some locations. Infrastructure that loses power on Friday night might not have power restored until Wednesday or Thursday of next week. The human toll of that scenario is why governors are declaring emergencies now, why the National Guard is being mobilized, why warming centers are being set up. People will need places to go if their homes become uninhabitable. Southern cities that rarely see winter weather are particularly vulnerable. Atlanta doesn't have the snowplows that Chicago has. Charlotte doesn't have the road salt supplies that Boston has. When ice accumulates in these cities, everything stops. And it doesn't start again quickly. There's also concern about infrastructure failures. When ice accumulates on power lines and tree branches, the weight becomes enormous. Power lines snap. Transformers fail. Substations can be damaged. Each failure cascades into others. Repair crews can't get to damaged sites because roads are impassable. It becomes a cycle that takes days to break. The Fox weather team has been emphasizing that the bullseye for the most. Significant ice accumulation, capable of causing widespread power outages, is currently forecast from East Texas through southern Arkansas. But that forecast zone extends all the way to the Carolinas. We're talking about millions of people potentially without power. If you're watching from outside the United States, please share this with anyone you know in the affected areas. They need to see this information and prepare. Meteorologists are watching computer forecast models update every few hours. The European model, considered one of the most accurate, has been consistent in showing a massive storm system. Wednesday morning's model run reinforced what earlier runs showed. This is happening. The only question remaining is exact snow and ice totals, and those will vary by just a few miles in many cases. The Weather Prediction Center's forecast discussion from Wednesday afternoon specifically stated, major winter storm to bring significant impacts to the south Friday through this weekend. Expanding up the east coast Saturday night into Sunday, they used capital letters for emphasis. The technical forecast documents don't usually do that unless conditions warrant it. We're now less than 48 hours away from the beginning of this event. If you're in the affected areas and haven't prepared, you're running out of time. Friday morning will be too late for many preparations. Stores will be crowded or out of supplies. Gas stations might run low on fuel. Roads might already be icing over. The scope of this storm means that even if your specific location doesn't get the worst conditions, you'll still be affected. Supply chains will be disrupted. Deliveries will be delayed. People traveling from other areas might not make it. The ripple effects of a storm this size extend far beyond the precipitation zone. Before we wrap up, remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Our channel exists to bring you important news from reliable sources, all in one convenient place. Hit that notification bell so you never miss critical updates. Let me leave you with this. The last time the United States saw A winter storm of similar scope was years ago. Meteorologists with decades of experience are using words like unprecedented, historic, potentially catastrophic. These are not people prone to exaggeration. They're scientists reading data and making forecasts based on atmospheric conditions. The message from every credible source is the same: prepare now. Don't travel this weekend unless absolutely necessary. Check on vulnerable people in your life. Have emergency supplies ready. Monitor official sources for updates. Take this seriously. Over 200 million Americans, 35 states, 2,000 miles. For days of winter weather, up to a week of dangerous cold. These numbers aren't hypotheticals. By the time you watch this tomorrow or this weekend, they'll be reality for millions of people. We'll continue monitoring this situation and bringing you updates as they develop. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss them. Give this video a like to help spread awareness. Share it with anyone who needs to see this information. Stay safe, stay warm, and stay informed. That's what our channel is here for. We aggregate the news so you don't have to search for hours to find out what matters. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next update.